Colossians chapter 1, verse 16. For by him all things were created in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. Last time we saw that Jesus is the image, the exact image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation, saying that there was no one to create him. He is worthy of all praise. And the supremacy of God, supremacy of Jesus is exalted in the verse 16 that we are looking today. He says, all things that were created in heaven and on earth. That means whatever is here around us and all the whatever things that are in the spaces and way beyond in faraway galaxies were created by him. But it doesn't stop there. All things were created through him. That means he was the one who created. It was his voice that went and created. When you look at Genesis chapter 1, we see that it says, God said, let there be light. That means when protons were blasting through the entire universe, giving light, it was his voice that said, let it be light. All things were created through him, and now all things were created for him. They are created to give him glory. They are created to give him praise. But wait, is it praise from our lips? No. All things that are visible and invisible. There are billions of massive galaxies and whirlpools of stars and black holes that are massively huge, which our eyes will never see. On a smaller scale, there are nanoparticles, atoms and molecules and electrons and protons and neutrons, which our eyes cannot see. There are even subatomic particles that we can only postulate about. We don't see those things. Then who is praising him? All things that were created to give him glory. Do you see that? They were not for us to give him glory. All things are created to give him glory because it speaks of a massive, marvelous, awesome God, whether our lips take to praise him or not. All things were created for him, for his glory, for his rule, for his majesty. And he doesn't end there. He says, whether thrones, dominions, rulers, or authorities. That is a very important call that Paul is doing here. He's saying no to emperor worship that is going on there, no to dominions and fear of the evil ones, no to anything that is created, not to angelic praise. No one is going to pray to angels because Jesus is beyond and more powerful than angels. He's saying no to any authority that is standing against God. He's saying, no, you were created, O kings, by Jesus and for Jesus and through Jesus' word. Therefore, you are not as big as Jesus. That is our prayer today. All things. He is supreme. All things were created for him, through him, by him, to display his majesty. Things that are alive, things that are oppressive, things that are kind, things that are cute, things that are dangerous and deadly, things that are loud like waterfalls, things that are silent like the quietness at night, things that are burning hot like the centers of stars, and things that are freezing cold in the depths of ice. All things were created to reflect his majesty. Let us praise him.